Howdy folks, welcome back to My World of Tanks replays with our mighty Jingles, and today we are on the test server with the new version of the game coming in patch 8. I don't know whether you want to call it patch 0.8, whether you want to call it patch 8.0. I'm just going to call it patch 8 to save the argument. What's coming in patch 8? Wow, you would not believe what is coming in patch 8. The changes to the game are absolutely huge. Now we got a small taste of that in the physics test server. Which had a very, very rough and ready version of the new graphics renderer and basically, the new physics engine. Well, that's all in this version of the game. As you can see, the garage looks slightly different. There's my T-34, and yep, new emblems, new decals, new whatever you want to call them, new camo patterns. That's just one taste of what's coming. Absolutely huge changes. I barely know where to start, and I'm sure I'm going to forget something and not cover it, and I'll have to come back and do it in a future video. But hey, what the hell? I'm really, really excited about patch 8. Much more. I mean, I got pretty excited about patch 8 when I was doing the sneak peek at the physics test, but I'm getting really excited about this patch. There's just so many changes to the game. I mean, there's the changes to the Panzer IV. There's the new Russian tank destroyers. There's the new graphics rendering engine. There's the physics, the tech tree, as the whole UI interface, everything has just been totally overhauled, and this is just the first build. There's more stuff coming. I'm particularly excited about the graphics rendering engine. Now, one of the problems or worries, concerns that a lot of people had, particularly when they looked at my previous look at the test server when it was just the physics test, was how their frame rate was going to be affected. You really don't need to worry. I mean, I said at the time that this was a physics test. They had a quick, early, rough and ready version of the new renderer, but it wasn't optimized. This is a much more optimized version of the rendering engine, and you really don't have anything to worry about the frame rates. And I'm going to show you what the different graphic settings look like and what sort of frame rates you can achieve. And also bear in mind that even this is just the first iteration of the new rendering system. It is going to get better. It is going to be further optimized. Your frame rates are going to be even higher. I'll cover that very, very shortly. We'll see what the game looks like on the lowest possible settings, on medium settings, and on the highest possible settings, and you'll see the frame rate that I get. Now, for reference purposes, my machine is well over a year old. I can't remember exactly how long I've had it, but it might even be 2 years. I have an Intel i7 processor. It's quad core, but the game only uses one core anyway. It's overclocked. It runs at 3.07 gigahertz. I have 12 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, and I have a NVIDIA GTX 480 graphics card. So that's my setup. You'll be able to draw your own conclusions on how your machine is likely to perform from that. So, straight away, going into the graphics settings. And it's all in proper English this time. It's not half English, half Russian like it was on the physics test. The first thing I always do is disable vehicle vibration in sniper mode. So I've done that. If you go into the marker, and a lot of people don't realise you can do this in game actually. They see health bars over tanks and they say, "Oh, what mod is that?" It's not a mod. It's actually in the in-game settings. So I'll pop in, I'll set this up to my tastes so I can see what kind of tank I'm shooting at rather than the name of the person driving it, which is totally irrelevant. And a quick visual representation of the health of the tanks. Go in, set that up, brilliant, bingo. Reticle, yeah, here we go. I'm not running any mods on the test server. This is just the first. I got in as soon as I could, and I just wanted to see what stuff looked like. Graphics. At the moment it says custom settings. That's basically because I've turned off display grass in sniper mode. Everything else is maximum settings. This is where you change everything up. So you've got texture quality, decals quality, shadow quality, water quality. New water effects are in here. Extra effects, post pro, you name it, it's all here. Bang. Don't need to talk about it. Go in, change it around as you see fit. But here is what things actually look like on the various different settings. So first of all, let's have a quick look at the lowest possible detail settings. Okay, what you're looking at here is fjords under minimum graphics settings, and we're clocking an easy 60 frames per second even while everything is loading in. And well, it doesn't look terrible even on minimum settings. Obviously the view range is going to be horrific, and look at the trees at distance, they're just blocky pixels, so it's not spectacularly pretty, but it's not terrible either. Now what I do find at this sort of setting is that, well, we'll see when we come across some enemy targets. This is a training room we're in, by the way, nobody's shooting at each other here. Although you should definitely shoot at people when you're fighting a proper battle on the test server. This is not a physics test, right? This is a World of Tanks test patch. This is a no shooting training room only that I just wanted to get into so we could test the various different graphics settings for you with the new renderer. Obviously there have been some changes. And bear in mind, this is the first iteration of the new rendering system, so you can expect to get better frames per second when this thing goes live than what you're seeing here. And I'm still doing 59, 60 frames per second. Obviously the trees are very, very blocky until you get within about 70 meters. But it doesn't look bad. And I was very surprised at this. Despite the fact that these are the lowest possible graphics settings. The only thing I've changed is I've turned off vehicle vibration in sniper mode. Okay, so, and there you go. I mean, that, that is, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Just for the sake of reference, my machine is running at 3.07 gigahertz with an Intel i7 processor. It's quad core, but obviously the game only supports one. I have 12 gigabytes of RAM and an NVIDIA GTX 480 graphics card. The machine's well over a year old, just to give you some sort of idea of how you can expect your machine to perform. So, there you go. That's not terrible. Now we'll have a look at some higher graphics settings. However, be aware, if you switch down to the minimum graphics setting, you have to restart the game. Anything higher than that, and it all seems to use the same renderer. This seems to be a different, on minimum settings, seems to be a different version of the renderer. And just in case you were wondering, yes, physics are included. And there you go, I'm about to drown. So this version of the test server also includes the physics. And yeah, there's me driving along the bottom of the riverbed. And then my crew drowned. So, back to garage. So, lowest detail, well, it didn't look that bad. If you're used to playing on the highest detail settings under the current graphics rendering system, it's, well, how can I put it? Obviously the view distance wasn't as good. The draw distance wasn't as good. There was a lot of fogging on there, but up close everything still looked pretty good, and surprisingly good considering it's the lowest possible settings available to the renderer. So we'll switch it up to medium. Bear in mind one thing, that when you're messing around with the settings like this, if you set everything to the lowest possible settings, you have to restart the game. Anything higher than the lowest settings, you can tinker with them live. You don't have to restart the game. So we're going to have a look now at what the game looks like and what sort of frame rate you can expect with medium graphics settings. Here we go. Okay, here we go. This time it's medium graphics settings. You can see that new renderer in full effect here. I think I might need to change the gamma. Turn that down a bit. It seems very bright, but this is a desert map, so El Haluf and Counter Battle T50-2. And this is only medium graphics settings, and again we're still pushing 60 frames per second. So, wow. Same machine. Medium settings, minimum settings, same frame rate. This looks promising. And you can see the view distance is obviously, I mean it's medium. I normally play in very high settings. But there you go. And as you can see, oof, yeah, physics are definitely in play here. I was actually doing 80 kilometers an hour going downhill on my T50-2. So even on medium settings, this looks pretty good. And obviously, you can tweak it to your own tastes, based on the performance of your machine. I'd certainly like, I'm just used to a much better view distance, and I'm not used to this kind of level of fogging. You may be. I don't know what sort of machine you're running the game on. And whoa, he slowed down drastically in the water there. That's not something I'm used to on this map. So that's something you're going to need to be aware of. So medium settings, still getting 60 frames per second. See how much speed we can get up to down here. 70, 80, 82. Alright, let's see if we can get some air time. Where's a cliff we can go driving off? One up here. Alright, let's see if I can wreck myself. I mean, I'm confident that I can, but let's just see how much time we can spend airborne. Now you do tend to find, or certainly did when the physics test server was up, that driving these light tanks, if you're not careful, you can wreck your tracks very easily when you leave the ground. Depends on the speed that you're going and the kind of terrain that you're going over. Let's get ourselves a good run up here. And turn. Let's go flying. 60 kph. Slow down a little when we come up this hill, but here we go. I'm still doing 66, 70. And boom. Killed our engine. Destroyed both of our tracks.
We fixed the track. Get going. We've repaired the engine, but we can't go very fast.
And yeah, even with the damaged engine, we're still pulling 55, 56 kph, although obviously going uphill is it's really gonna hurt. So, there you go, medium graphics settings. Same frame per second as low graphics settings. In fact, not even low, minimum graphics settings. There's minimum, low, medium, all sorts of... Oof. E50 just went flying. Let's see if I can kill myself. I must admit, I am surprised that I didn't actually destroy the tank when I flew off that cliff. Took about 200 damage. Let's see what happens here. Okay, that was interesting. Didn't take any track damage. Took a little bit of health damage, but that is survivable. Oh well. Well, messed around enough here. Let's see what things look like on maximum settings, and more importantly, see what sort of frame rates we can get. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So yeah, I was quite surprised that I was getting the same frame rate, medium settings, as I was at the lowest possible settings, so that was very encouraging. And bear in mind, this is just the first iteration of the graphics rendering engine. Things will be optimized even further as the test progresses. So that was the medium settings. Now we're going to see what the game looks like on the highest possible graphics settings. So again, back to the training room. Okay, here we go. Same map, different vehicle. Maximum graphics settings. And again, I still think I might need to adjust the gamma settings. It does seem very bright, but you know, then again, it is a desert map. But fjords seemed a bit brighter than I'm used to as well, so probably still some graphics tweakings to get used to, but look at that. And maximum settings, we're still running at 50 frames per second. Even on a big old map like El Haluf. Now I expect to take a hit as more of the view opens up, but still 40 frames per second. PC is at least a year and a half old. This is not a problem, and it looks amazing. And we're still in the high 30s, 35, 36. Look at that. That is awesome. So the problems that people, or well, problems, not really the right word, the issues that people were having with regards to worrying about the frame rate, I really don't think you're going to have anything to worry about. And remember, I mean, I'm doing 43 frames per second here in a PC that's well over a year old, with maximum settings on everything in this new graphics engine, and it is only the first build of the new graphics engine. Right? They will optimize it even further than this. So you really don't have anything to worry about your graphics. And if your machine's even older than mine, well... Oh, here we go. I have a challenge. E7. Where's E7? This guy's got one of the brand new, the Object 263, new Russian Tier 10 tank destroyer. What's this? He's trained his crew in camo. He wants to know what his effective camo rating is. He's over at E7. Wow, that's scary. New Russian Tier 10 tank destroyer, 150 meters away. I cannot see him. Oh, those things are going to be bad news. Yep. I think we can confirm that that new Tier 10 Russian tank destroyer has a very, very, very good camo rating. Had to get within instant detection range before I could spot him with those bushes between me and him. But check that out. And we're forming a conga line. So yeah, I don't think anybody has anything to worry about with the graphics settings at all. I'm pulling at more than acceptable frame rates at maximum settings, and my machine is nothing to write home about. It's well over a year old. I mean, it was pretty good when I bought it, but it's just an average desktop PC now, and wow, what can we say? Look at that. 50 frames per second, maximum settings. 60 frames per second on medium and minimum settings. And we're having real issues pushing this Object 263 uphill. Look at that. And a little play around with the physics as well. I'm going flying. Let's see how the chaffee handles flying off a cliff. Bear in mind I did on the T50-2, wreck both my tracks and my engine.
We're immobilized.
Oh, that hurt.
They killed our driver.
So, I killed my driver,
Fix the track. Let's
wrecked
roll.
my ammo rack, both my tracks, radio, fuel tanks. Ugh. So light tank drivers, be real careful when you're driving around on these maps. I mean, that was an extreme example, but it's surprisingly easy to get some airtime in these things. Almost left the ground there. Yeah. So, maximum settings. Still doing 36 frames per second. Right, well, onwards and upwards. What's next? Well, I was pretty surprised at that result, I have to admit. Maintaining a consistent 35 or higher frame rate with everything turned up as high as it would go. That was pretty damn impressive, considering how old my machine is. So, you know, draw your own conclusions based on your own system specifications and how you normally run the game under the current settings. I think they've done an incredible job with the new graphics renderer, and as I keep saying, it's just the first version of how things are going to look. They still have further optimization to do. Your frame rate will improve further, and I'm really impressed with the way things look. Plus, you know, the physics are in there as well. Everything is just wow. But anyway, so that's how the graphics are going to look covered. What else has changed? Well, an absolute boatload. The interface has changed drastically. Have a look at the research tree. Okay, so bang, there you go. Now that's like nothing you have ever seen up to this point, and it does take a bit of getting used to because it's different, but it does make a lot of sense. It's arranged vertically by tiers. So your tier 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, scroll across, 9s, 10s. Okay, but there are other things that have changed here. You can actually buy tanks directly from the research tree. I mean, previously you could anyway. You'd have to right click on them, and you know that functionality is still there. You can still go vehicle details, research, and buy. But there's a little buy button right next to a tank that you have unlocked. And if there's a tank that you haven't researched, there's a little research button next to it as well. So we can go, bingo, yeah, let's research the BS Tier 2 French artillery. Oh, and now we can go in and buy one. Or we can just click on the tank and we're straight into researching the modules. So there we go, let's research the tracks. And let's research the Lorraine 39 LAM. And we've just deleted the BS. And it's as simple as that. Back to tech tree, and then now we can buy a Lorraine 39 LAM or click on that, research the various modules, and away we go. And it's as simple as that. And then unlock the 105 AM. Bingo, we've just deleted the Lorraine. So there's your research tree. Now there are other things on the research tree which you will not have seen before, like premium vehicles. There's the French Tier 3 tank destroyer, and down there the French Tier 4 artillery. It will also show you with a big tick mark next to the vehicles that you already own, as opposed to the ones that you've already researched. As you can see here, I've researched all of these guys, but I don't have them in my garage. If there's a tick next to it, you've got them in your garage. So that's interesting. And there's the American tech tree. Haven't noticed any new additions to the American tech tree yet, but this is practically the first time I've looked at it. Oh, there's the Super Pershing sitting there at tier 8. You can just plonk your, click the button there, spend your gold straight away. One other thing to notice, on this version of the test server, they've not done this before. They'd given everybody 100,000 credits and, 100 million credits and 100 million experience. So you can research and play every tank in the game. You also get given 20,000 gold. I think I've already had 2,500 sitting on my account whenever this snapshot was taken of the account for the testing purposes. So yeah, tech trees are looking very, very impressive. Now you'll notice that the British tech tree is not yet here in the game. However, if you go to the depot, you go to all nations, select the UK and hit vehicles, the Matilda Black Prince is in the game. So the first British tank, and it's not a Russian Lend-Lease tank, it's an actual British tank, is in the game. And there it is, the Matilda Black Prince. Basically it's a Matilda with a Churchill turret and the Churchill gun. So I'll be having fun with that later on. Now, other changes to tanks. And a lot of people were very, very concerned. And I may as well get this out of the way because it's going to be the first question everybody asks. What's happened to the Panzer IV? Well, it's not the tank we all know and love anymore, that's for sure. There it is. The Schmalturm turret is gone. It's got this new turret with these side skirts. The L70 75mm gun is gone. It's the old L48, but it's had a couple of buffs. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what those buffs are. I think it looks more accurate. The aiming time is pretty crap. The accuracy is pretty crap. The penetration and the damage is very average. The rate of fire is pretty good. It's totally different to the current Panzer IV. Is it a good tank? Don't know. I'll have to play it and get back to you. But it's certainly not the sniper that the current Panzer IV is. Not with a gun like that. It just isn't. There's the gun selection, and they're all pretty crap except for the derp gun, the 105mm howitzer, and this L48. So forget what you know about the Panzer IV. It is not the medium sniping tank that it currently is, not in patch 8. It's totally changed. It seems to be a lot faster. I had a quick run around on Karelia in this thing, and yeah, well, what can I say? I'm not going to render an opinion on it this early, not after playing it for 5 minutes. It feels more like a Sherman. That was my initial impression, but we'll get onto that in more detail when I have time to play this thing and give it a decent review. Oh, that's another thing. When you're on the test server, excuse me, when you're on the test server, feel free to shoot at people, because this is not a physics test. This is a World of Tanks test, right? And people are killing each other in random battles. It's, you know, because that's what random battles are for. Speaking of random battles, there is a way to exclude, and I am not sure how you do it. Let's check it in game settings. Is it in game? Battle types, yep, there you go. You can exclude encounter battles and assault battles if you are sick and tired of queuing up your T-95 tank destroyer, hitting the random battle button and getting into assault on Malinovka and starting at the bottom of the hill. You never have to do it again. You can now turn off assault maps and turn off encounter battles. And to be honest, well, there's a lot of people who say this should have been in from the start. Instead of being forced to play these game modes that they really don't like. But I will definitely be turning assault off, so I never have to assault Prokhorovka again, because that just given me high blood pressure. So yeah, make your own choice. Do you want to? Do you like encounter battles? Fine, you can continue playing encounter battles. Do you like playing assault battles? Well, fine, you continue playing assault battles, but you don't have to anymore if you don't want to. So that's how you do that in the game settings. Back to game. What else has changed? Let's have a think. I think that might just pretty much cover it. Oh, no. Let's have a look at these Russian tank destroyers. I know you all want to see them, so back to the tech tree. Right, tank destroyers, here we go. From tier 6 up, there is an entire new line of Russian TDs. So there's the ones that we all know and love, the Su-152, the ISU, the Object 704, and the Object 268. And here are the new guys, the Su-100M, Su-101, the Su-12254, and the new Object 263. So, I'm going to buy myself an Object 704 with a 100% crew, because I've got thousands of gold and millions of credits. I'm going to buy myself an Object 268 with a 100% crew. And I'm going to buy all the new ones, and we're going to test them. And you're going to see what they look like. And I'm going to get thousands and thousands of YouTube views. Well, maybe not right now. And of course I need to research. So here we go. And why not? And there's the Object 263 as well. Su-101, everything unlocked. It seems to share components. And we'll have a quick look here. Well, we're back down the Su-100. From the Su-100 at tier 6, you can either go to the Su-100M1 or the Su-152. Let's have a look at the components. So here's the Su-100M1, and it shares one of the same guns as the Su-101. That gun is specific to the 100M1. And it looks like your typical Russian tier 7 heavy tank gun, 175 penetration. Damage is on the low side though, 230, but a very fast rate of fire. And it is, oh, look at that. 0.33 accuracy, 1.7 second aiming time. So this is a rapid firing tier 7 and up tank killing gun. That's interesting. What about the big gun, the tier 9 gun? Rate of fire looks pretty good. Penetration is kind of low-ish, 219. Damage is low-ish. Accuracy is alright. Aiming time is alright. That's an interesting choice. What about the SU-101? Here it is, tier 8. What guns does that get? Choice of 3. So the D54S, which we've already looked at on the previous one, and then it gets another tier 8 gun. It's interesting. Which is your basic Russian tier 7 heavy tank gun, and here's the big boy here, M62C2. This looks at first glance like a tank destroyer version of the IS-4's gun, and yeah, that pretty much looks like what it is. In fact, that looks like exactly what it is. That's interesting. We got tier 9, and we get this little baby here, and the guns all look pretty much of them. Ooh, 130, and that's a tank destroyer version of the IS-7's gun. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, well, I don't want to get too sidetracked here. We'll get back to these when we look over them in much closer detail. For now, I just wanted to show you the Matilda Black Prince, show you a quick look at the Panzer IV, and show you what the graphics rendering system looked like on 3 different settings: lowest possible settings, medium settings, and the highest settings. So that's what we've done. I will get cracking in random battles and have a look at some of these new machines, get you reviews of what they all look like, and I'll try to get those up as soon as I possibly can. But this is what I just wanted to do first. As soon as I got on the test server, have a look at the major changes to obviously the graphics rendering system. Physics is still in there. Changes to the tech tree, the new UI interface. You're going to find that when you get into game, battle chat commands are now context sensitive. So for example, and I can't remember off the top of my head what button it was, but if you press the button that shouts attack and you have an enemy tank targeted, it shouts attack that enemy tank. You know, all sorts of good stuff. If you press the help button and you have a friendly tank targeted, your message in chat comes up with, you know, you there, that tank, help me please. It's just so much to cover. Certainly not enough in this, you know, quick I'm on the test server video. But we'll be covering that in much more detail in future videos. So that's it for now. I hope you had a you know, an informative look at what to expect on the test server, and I highly recommend everybody gets on there because it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to record my findings and get them up in future videos. So until the next time, take care on the battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.